Hey guys, Toxico Cereal here, and welcome back to another Clash Royale video. Today I'm back on tiermaker.com, ranking every single card, and I did make sure this time I made it myself, the tier list. It will be in the description below if you want to rank the cards yourself. This did take a little bit of time, it didn't take that long, but we do have 7 tiers, like always. The S tier, the A tier, the B tier, the C tier, the D tier, E tier, and F tier. And I'll be ranking every single card, every 102 cards in this ranking list. And of course, if you guys don't agree, tell me what cards in the comments you don't agree with. The ones you do agree with, you can agree with me. I don't know. Just do whatever. You disagree, dislike the video. You agree with a lot of things, disagree with a couple, I would like the video. If you disagree with more than, like, I don't know, 12, then, yeah, that's not good. That means I did pretty bad. But anyway, let's get right into it. Anyway, we have the Flying Machine to start off. Now, the Flying Machine has been it hasn't been the greatest card, but I think the Flying Machine is going to go in B tier. I think the Flying Machine is actually a pretty good card. It's not the best card, but certainly it's been a very well-performing. Balloon will be an A tier. I don't think it has just enough to go in S tier, but it's definitely up there. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a nerf to the Balloon. I think minions are balanced. But Minion Horde, it depends, because Minion Horde's been very bad, but Minions have not. The Fisherman's going to be an S again. Dude, the Fisherman, even though it got nerfed, is actually performing better due to the meta shift, and the Fisherman it's just a very strong card again. But I don't really think the Fisherman, his main thing is because of Hunter, which will be hopefully on the list soon, but the Fisherman's very good. Mine will be an A tier. Now, I had a complaint about it last time. I put it in S tier. They're like, no, it shouldn't be in S tier. The nerfs have not been. So it really should be an S tier, but it's going to be an A tier. The Royal Delivery has been a pretty strong card, actually. It's going to go in B tier. It's not a terrible card. I don't personally like it, but it's not terrible. Goblin Gang will go in C tier. It's been very counterable due to the Barbarian Barrel, Log, Zap, Giant Snowball. Cards that can just counter it. Rocket will be in... It's actually going to be in D tier. Rocket has not been the best performing card. In fact, it's actually got lower win rates than Lightning, when Rocket clearly does more damage, and I personally think Rocket is a very frustrating card, but it really has not performed very well. The Motor will be in C tier. I put it in D tier last time. The Motor is actually a pretty balanced card. It's actually not a terrible card at all, but yeah. The Spear Goblins will go in B tier. Spear Goblins have been very, very, very well performing compared to normal Goblins, which suck. Spear Goblins have been performing actually pretty decently. The E-Golem, it's going to go in D tier. The E-Golem, really, those Battle Healer E-Golem decks, they have just not been performing very well, and honestly wouldn't be surprised to see a buff to the E-Golem. I think the E-Golem's an okay card, but it's just, it dies too quick. Fire Spirits suck. They're going in F tier. I don't know what the heck you can do to these Fire Spirits, but they suck, and it makes no sense. They're so bad, I don't even know what you're going to do, because the Furnace also sucks. It's 2 cards that suck, and the Executioner also in F tier. I put it in C tier. It wasn't the best idea, because the Executioner really does have very bad win rates. I don't know if you guys heard my dogs. They just got into a fight, but, yeah, I'm trying not to focus away from that, but we have the Infernal Tower. That'll be in C tier. The Infernal Tower has been... I think it's a balanced card. It could be kind of frustrating if you have a good push going into distraction. The Cannon card will be in A tier. The Cannon card actually has been very well performing. Kind of dropped a little bit, but it's still a pretty good card. And the Lava Hound will also be in A tier. The Lava Hound has actually been a very well performing card for a while now. And I personally like the Lava Hound. I know people hate it sometimes, but the Lava Hound, pretty good. The Ice Wizard, I really haven't been paying too much. I really haven't seen much Ice Wizard. It's going to go in B tier, though, because it's not a terrible card at all, but the Ice Wizard, I'm not seeing a lot of decks with him, but he's a pretty good card, in my opinion. I hate the Princess, even though I know people might disagree with the Princess going in D tier, but I personally think the Princess sucks. I've always thought it sucks, but, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see a buff to the Princess, but I'm pretty sure the Princess... it's just not a good card, in my opinion. We have the Skarmy. The Skarmy, oh, this is a tough one between C and D. I'm gonna put it in C because I personally think this card is a pretty balanced card. Its win rates are so low due to the fact Log, Barbarian, Barrel, Zap, Giant Snowball, all those cards that could just take out the Skeleton Army like that. Okay, the Heal Spirit is an interesting one. It got nerfed many times, and it's gonna go in. I think they finally balanced the Heal Spirit. I wouldn't actually be surprised to put it in D tier, but the Heal Spirit certainly isn't as good as it was before. And then Lightning will also be in C tier. I think Lightning is pretty good in the meta right now. It's not the greatest card, but it's pretty good. The Royal Recruits, they're going to go in either B or A. They're going to put them in B tier. Honestly, they're kind of counterable in my opinion. They have been pretty good in the meta for a while. Not the greatest, but pretty decent. The Musketeer is going to be either B or A. Again, this is one I'm just not sure about because it's pretty good. I'm actually going to put the Musketeer in A tier. It's actually pretty good, even though Hunter's replacing in many decks. But the Musketeer is still a very well-performing card. The Golem is going to be in... I'm not sure, actually. I'm going to put the Golem in C tier. The Golem... I don't know, like, the Golem is counterable, but not counterable. If you got a good push going, it could be a very frustrating card to deal with, but the Golem certainly can be a very annoying card if it gets to the tower. The Expo is an interesting one because they just reworked it. I haven't seen much Expo anymore. I don't know where to put it, actually. The Expo is a tough one, in my opinion, because I really haven't seen the Expo perform in this new one. I'm just going to put it in the balanced tier because I don't know much about the Expo. You guys might think it's better or worse. You guys can tell me about Expo. I personally have no idea on this one. Okay, Sparky's an interesting one. I'm actually going to put it in D tier. This is a little bit of a surprising one because you know I love the Sparky. I really love the Sparky. But anyway, the Sparky, it got nerfed. And it really impacted the Sparky. I mean, Sparky literally takes a full second to shoot, even though win rates have been climbing due to the Electro Giant and cards like that getting greater, and the Sparky goes well, but the Sparky just not as good anymore. My God, but the Wizard's the E tier. Now, the Wizard is not a terrible card, okay? I love the Wizard, one of my favorite cards in the game, but the Wizard sucks at Grand Challenges, and it's a good high usage rate, but it has such low win rates. It just needs a rework. Okay, we got the Bandit. The Bandit is going to go in B tier. I like the Bandit, actually. It's a pretty nice card to use, actually. I don't really see it that much, but it's not a terrible card. I know that. Okay, we have the Knight. That's going to be an S tier. The Knight, again, they didn't nerf it. It's not as OP as it was last season because of the meta. It's been going down in terms of usage and win rates, but I still think the Knight is a very dominant card. I think the Elixir Pump is a 6 Elixir waste. I hate this stupid Elixir. It's not even Elixir Pump. Elixir Collector, whatever you want to call it. It sucks. It's a 6 Elixir waste because you could just put a spell on it and then boom. You just wasted 6 Elixir. Even if you fireball it, you just wasted 6 Elixir. I mean, you can get 1 to 2 value out of it, but do you really need it? I don't know, but whatever. It's pretty bad in my opinion. Okay, we have the Electro Spirit. This is an interesting one because it literally would have been in D, E, or F. But now it's in frickin' S tier. Dude, I mean, the Electro Spirit literally has the highest win rate in the game now. And its usage rates are continuing to go up, and I don't know why. But the Electro Spirit is now a very dominant card after being a card that was never even used. I don't know what happened. It was probably because of the Heal Spirit, but the Electro Spirit is definitely in A or S tier. I'm going to put it in S tier because I just feel like it. The Royal Hogs, though, I don't really like the Royal Hogs, but they're not a terrible card, even though the Heal Spirit did get nerfed. They'll be in B tier. Honestly, I think the Royal Hogs, they don't suck, but I personally think they suck. They don't suck, though, because it can go, well, with a lot of cards, but it could be countered by a lot of cards as well. Okay, the Witch's buff wasn't enough. It's going to be an E tier now, but the Witch still sucks. The win rates are terrible. I don't know what you do, but the Witch, it's not good. It's still not good, even though they did buff it. The Witch just still performs very bad. Okay, we have the P.E.K.K.A. The P.E.K.K.A. is very interesting. It's gonna be in either. It's gonna be C or D. it's going to be D. The only reason the P.E.K.K.A. will be in D tier is because literally you're not just seeing that many decks. P.E.K.K.A. can be countered by a lot of decks, even though P.E.K.K.A. is a very strong card with high damage, but the Mega Knight's a better option. The Mega Knight will be in this, it's going to be in B tier. Mega Knight is better than P.E.K.K.A. in my opinion. I love the Mega Knight. I like the P.E.K.K.A. too, but I love the Mega Knight more. This, guys, this is just my opinion. You might think P.E.K.K.A. should be higher, but P.E.K.K.A. does not perform very well. Mega Knight also doesn't perform very well, but it does have higher usage rates than the P.E.K.K.A. Alright, Clone's been pretty bad. It's just, I don't know what the heck's wrong with Clone. I personally think Clone shouldn't be as bad as it is now. It literally is only used with Giant Skeleton, Balloon, Golem, all those cards that have death damage. That's basically it. Okay, we have Guards. These are also in E tier. Guards, they did get a rework technically, but I honestly think it made the card a little bit, I don't know, the same. It didn't really do much. But Guards, they're still pretty bad. Okay, we have the Giant Snowball. Now, this is what I want to talk about. I put it in E tier on the last video. That was a stupid move by me. I don't know why I put it in E tier. The Giant Snowball is definitely in A tier, if not S tier. The Giant Snowball, I honestly think, is better than Zap. I don't know why I put it in E tier. I personally think it really is better than Zap because the knockback and slowness effect is very helpful. And Zap only just stuns, and it does have a good area range. Giant Snowball, I think, actually has a larger one. But personally, I really do think it is better than Zap, Giant Snowball. I think you guys might actually agree. The Goblin Cage is in A tier. It's actually been a very good card. And I personally think it's been sucked. It sucked when it got released, but it's pretty much, it's better now. I actually like the Goblin Cage. I don't use it. I don't use any buildings, but certainly a good card. Tornado also an A tier. I honestly like the Tornado. It's just like that liner. It will never die. It's I reworked it, and I still think it's a little broken. But yeah. Okay, the Battle Healer, it's gonna be in D tier. There's no deck except for the Electric Golem that uses Battle Healer. I don't know what you're gonna do. The Battle Healer kind of is pretty trash. And then the Bomber will also be in D tier. The Bomber, I still think, might just need a slight buff. It can be annoying in that Golem deck. Maybe, I would not be surprised to put it in C tier either. Between those two, I'm totally fine with that. With the Magic Archer, it's been a very, I say decent card. It's going to be in B tier. It's not the worst performing. It's not a very terrible card. It's actually a pretty good card if you know how to use it, which I love the Magic Archer. It's a very interesting and fun card to use, even though it is very hard to use them sometimes. You got to get that angle just right. Now, the Tesla, I think the Tesla balanced out because of the Expo rework, and I think Tesla is going to be right up there with the Expo. Okay, the Electro Dragon's an interesting one. It has, like, no health. But it's actually a very good card with the stun and its chain damage. It's going to be in C tier, though, but I actually like the Electro Dragon, but the E-Dragon, I know a lot of people like Electro. I don't really care what you call it, but yeah, it's going to be in C tier. Okay, we have the Ice Spirit. That's going to be in A tier. The Ice Spirit has been very good as well. Electro Spirit, I personally think, is a little bit better because of the meta shift, but the Ice Spirit is right up there with the Electro Spirit. Okay, with the Giant Skeleton, I'm gonna put it in B tier. The Giant Skeleton actually has not been very good due to the fact the Fisherman, of course, getting popular in the meta. Great counter to it, the Giant Skeleton, bringing the bomb closer. That heavy damage right there is just very impactful. Okay, we have it received 2 nerfs in a row. It will be in B tier. It's still a very good performing card. It's not the best performing card, but it's up there. Alright, we got the Inferno Dragon. That will also be in B tier. The Inferno Dragon's actually performed pretty good. It's got good usage rates. The win rates are not terrible on it at all. I like the Inferno Dragon, but there's some cards better. The Barbarian Barrel is going to be S tier again. It's basically everywhere in the meta. It's just high usage rates and win rates too. Very good. Okay, we have the Graveyard. This is an interesting one, honestly, because the Graveyard received a kind of a rework the one season that actually buffed it, and they were going for a nerf. They reverted it, and now it's got nerfed. It's going to be in A tier. I still think the Graveyard is a very good card. I love the Graveyard. I use it in my deck, pairing it with the Balloon and the Graveyard at the same time. One tower almost gets it guaranteed. Those are two cards I personally think are really strong. Even though the Graveyard I still think is a little bit pretty strong, but it's not the strongest. We have the Bowler. It'll be in D tier. I don't... What? Oh, I put it in C tier. Alright, well, it's going to be in D tier. The Bowler is a very interesting card, but I really don't think it's the greatest. That's just me. But, alright, we got the Battle Ram. I think the Battle Ram is pretty crap. I don't like the Battle Ram. I don't know, man. I only see it in the P.E.K.K.A. deck. And I do see it sometimes in other decks, but really that's it. Royale Ghost will be in, I think the Royale Ghost is balanced due to the hover mechanic. It could be above, but I'm going to put it in C tier. Okay, the Goblin Giant, this card got buffed. I thought it was a balanced card, but it's going to be in B tier. The Goblin Giant is a little better now. The win rate's very good. The usage rate's not so good, but the win rate's okay. Now, the Skeleton Barrel. This card got nerfed HP. It does not get to the tower anymore. Guaranteed. It gets close to the tower, but I don't think it gets directly to the tower. But I'm gonna put it in between B and C. I'm gonna put it in B. So we got double layer on the B tier now, and the Skeleton Barrel, even though it got nerfed, it's still pretty decent. It's just not as good. The Goblin Hut has been very bad performing, in my opinion. It's just not that good at the moment, and it's just, I don't know, because the HP got a little low on it, just like the Furnace, and then the Barbarian Hut also got nerfed. The Goblin Barrel's in C tier. The reason I put it higher, but the reason it's C tier, we're seeing so much Barbarian Barrel and the Log, it just makes the Goblin Barrel a big counter. An Arrow, Zap, Giant Snowball. Cards that just counter the Goblin Barrel easily. The Furnace is F. The Furnace sucks. I mean, my goodness. The Furnace literally can get one-shotted by a balloon. I don't know why that is. The Furnace literally doesn't spawn anything when it's destroyed. It sucks. Okay, we have the Skeleton Dragons. They're in A tier. I still think they are very well-performing card. It's still a very well-performing card. And we could do something about it. We got Rage. It's going in D tier. I mean, I hate Rage. It's probably my #1 hated card. It's not that good because literally all you see it paired with is either Elite Barbarians or the Balloon. That's pretty much it. Okay, we got the Royal Giant. A tier. It's better because of the Electro Spirit, Fisherman, Barbarian Barrel, and all those cards that are in Fisherman decks. That's why Royal Giant is so good. I actually want it nerfed, but of course. Now we have Zap. That'll be in B tier. I think the Giant Snowball is better than Zap, but yeah. Okay, Skeletons. It's balanced. It's a balanced card. Okay, you guys can understand. It is definitely a balanced card. But I don't know, I don't know. I'm going to scroll up just a little bit. But, that way you can see more of the cards. But, yeah, I don't know. It is a balanced card, but it's a good cycle card. That's why it's so popular. It's a good card, but it's balanced. Okay, it's balanced. Alright, we got Poison. Pretty dominant spell. It's A tier for sure. And it goes well with the Graveyard. It's been a very good card in many decks, but yeah, that's just me. Okay, the Elite Barbarians. This is an interesting one. The Elite Barbarians literally got a rework, and then they shot up with usage and rights. They're back to where they were now. The Elite Barbarians suck again. Again, they suck again. They literally have 1% usage rate and like a 30% win rate. I think the Elite Barbarians literally are back to where they started 2 seasons ago. What happened? Okay, the Minion Horde, I put it in F tier last time. I'm going to put it in D tier this time. I know some people actually got really mad. It does suck, though. The Minion Horde just because of spells. Fireball, arrow, zap, giant snowball, poison, all those spells that could just take out the minion horde really quickly. And that's why I think the minion horde sucked. It's definitely not an F tier, but it's definitely lower than C tier. Okay, the mirror is E tier. It's not no spot in the middle. I hate the mirror. I want it removed from the damn game, but they ain't gonna do that. Okay, Hog Rider, 2.6 Hog, and it's alright, but it's gonna be in B tier. And Bats, they got buffed. They're in A tier. They're pretty good again. After they got nerfed, they became pretty wonk on the bad side. Okay, the Lumberjack is in B tier as well. I really don't see it that much actually, and it doesn't perform the greatest, but it's not a terrible card. Okay, we got arrows. Those are going to be in C tier. The arrows, I think the arrows are balanced because they're basically what S tier means is they're a little bit greater, and D tier means they're a little bit on the bad side. I don't care. I'm basically saying if I really want them changed, where their usage and win rate stats are, and personally if I like the card or not, if I think it's performing well or not. The firecracker, it'll be in. Surprisingly, it's gonna be in C tier. I really do think the firecracker is balanced. She definitely can be annoying, and if you want to rework to make her push back a little bit less, that's totally fine with me. Now, I put the barbarian hut in D tier last time when it was clearly above, but I really do think it's in D tier this time, because the barbarian hut, even though with a nerf, I think it's just, it might be a little below, but that's what it is. The cannon has nothing. The cannon sucks. Literally, I mean, the only deck I see the cannon in is 2.6, and that deck does not do worth a crap. It sucks. But cannon has the worst health. Like, okay, cannon sucks. I put okay, next up is Zappies. I put it in F tier last season, and I really do think that was not the smartest choice. Zappies are actually a very good card on Grand Challenges, and I'm going to put them in C tier. I don't think Zappies are very good. Due to the fact that could be one-shot by Fireball, which is everywhere in the meta. And, that's really... Archer is also C tier, and, I mean, the Archers really... I only saw it in 2.6 Expo, but Archers, they're not terrible. I think they're really balanced. Okay, we have the Three Musketeers. Now, the Three Musketeers have been pretty crappy with their usage rates ever since that Musketeer nerf. They'll be in E tier. I really do think the Three Musketeers need a buff that doesn't affect the Musketeer. Only the Three Musketeers. I don't know how you can buff the Three Musketeers without buffing the Musketeer. Okay, we got Wall Breakers. Not too much of them. I'll put them in C tier. Okay, Fireball's S again. The Fireball is just... Oh man, it's one of those cards that just deals enough damage to one shot, or almost enough damage to one shot. You get what I'm trying to say. It's not a broken card, but it could be a very frustrating card. Okay, we got the Mega Minion. It's in Golem decks, and the Mega Minion actually is a very good performing card. I would not be surprised to see a nerf to it. Okay, the Prince. Okay, the Prince, honestly, it's better this season, but I still don't think it's on the bright side. I'm going to put it in D tier. And some people might be surprised with it, but I really do think that the Prince just doesn't perform very good anymore. It's not a bad card at all. I think the Dark Prince is much better. Barbarians will also be in D tier. I only see them in Lava Hound decks. That's basically it, but... They're not terrible at all, but they can be countered by Fireball, Skeleton Army, Mega Knight, P.E.K.K.A., a bunch of cards that splash damage or heavy health with good damage. The Dark Goblin's been very good, actually. Even though I put most of the log bait decks on the lower side, C, D. Dark Goblin is definitely not one of those cards, because I do see Dark Goblins on other decks, and I think the Dark Goblin's actually a very good card, in my opinion. It's going to be an A tier. Okay, you got the Mini P.E.K.K.A. I hate the Mini P.E.K.K.A, but it doesn't perform very well. I think it's balanced. It's C tier, okay? Now, it's just, I don't know. Like, I thought the Mini P.E.K.K.A was broken. After I personally thought that one nerf a while ago with the melee range from medium to short, that didn't. I honestly thought that did nothing. But the reason is because the Knight got so popular, and they wanted to make the mini P.E.K.K.A. popular. Okay, we have Earthquake. This is an interesting one. I think the Earthquake sucks, but according to Royale API, the Earthquake is actually pretty good. I'll put it in. Whoa, whoops. That is not what I wanted to do at all, but I'm gonna put it in C tier. Okay. I don't know. I think the Earthquake is bad, but it's not. Okay, Rascals. I'm gonna put them in D tier. Oh my god, I did it again. What am I doing? Rascals. They don't suck. Okay, but they have a 1% usage rate. That means that's a problem. Okay, Hunter will be the 6th card in S tier. The Hunter, my god, has very high usage and win rates. It replaced the Musketeer, and now the Hunter is broken and it needs a nerf. I didn't even put it in my balance change ideas, and I probably should have. It'll definitely be on the thoughts and other ideas. Okay, next up we have the Baby D. It's going to be an A tier. The Baby D's been a very strong card for a long time. They've nerfed it a couple times, but it's just not doing anything. Okay, we got Bomb Tower. It's a good building card, but they've kind of nerfed it down to the point where I think, oh my god. To the point I think it's pretty balanced. Okay, we got the Log, my favorite spell. That's going in S tier. The Log, it's as good as the Barbarian Barrel. The Barbarian Barrel is a little bit better than the Log, but they're both definitely up there. Okay, we got the Giant. I don't see it too much. I think it's balanced. The Giant, I mean, I do see the Giant Sparky deck, but with the Sparky nerf, the Giant really doesn't. And I see it with the Witch, but the Witch sucks. The Tombstone is a D tier. I don't think the Tombstone I've always thought was pretty crappy. And it's just, I don't know, the Tombstone, even though they buffed it, I still think it sucks. Okay, the Electro Spirit, I think, not the Electro Spirit, the Electro Giant, I think it actually is pretty balanced. It doesn't have the highest usage rates, but the win rates actually did get about 50%. The Dark Prince, definitely better than the Prince, A tier for sure. And the Prince, though, it sucks. The Dark Prince, the shield helpful, and the damage it does is actually pretty good. Okay, we got the Ram Rider. I personally, I think the Ram Rider sucks. It's not the worst card in the game, but I don't know. I'm gonna put it in C tier, but I don't think it's. I just find the Ram Rider uninteresting. But that's just me. Okay, we got the Night Witch. Due to the Golem, it's gonna go in B tier. And I do see it in other decks without the Golem, too. I've seen it in Mega Knight decks. I've seen it in Lava Hero decks. Okay, we got Goblins. They're going to be in E tier. The Goblins, compared to Spear Goblins, Goblins are useless. What do you need them for? Like, Spear Goblins are so much better that Goblins are useless. Okay, Valkyrie is going to be, I'm surprisingly put it in C tier. Usually, I would put it in BA, but the Valkyrie, I haven't seen as much of it, but it's not. Okay, the Mother Witch sucks, okay? It'll be an E tier. The Mother Witch, the newest card of the game, she sucks. She can get one-shotted by Fireball. I don't think she spawns the Hogs fast enough, even though she's a good counter to Scar Me, Minion Horde, in those cards with a lot of troops. I really think there's no spot for the Mother Witch. That's just me, and I know some people will definitely agree with me. The Ice Golem will be an A tier. It's just a great distraction, and it's performed very well in many decks. 2.6 Hogs. Expo Cycle. It's just, the Ice Golem is very good. The last one is Freeze. It'll be in D tier. I hate the Freeze, but the Freeze is just a frustrating card. It doesn't perform the greatest. But here you have it. Here's the list. Obviously, there could be a couple you don't agree with. There could be, I know for a fact, when I look in Royale API, there might be some that I disagree with myself. But if you guys think I should have put one higher, one lower, tell me in the comments if you think I got everything right, which I know for a fact you're going to say I didn't, because I definitely didn't get everything right. Then go ahead and comment that. But anyway, that's it for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.